Hi, I'm Bethany. I met Katie in the law firm that I work at.
And I thought we would talk about your fitness journey today and maybe start off with like 75 hard and some of the other things that you've been working on.
Yeah, so like everybody else, I was really bored during the quarantine and I kind of needed something to distract myself. And I guess I didn't really have a real reason for starting 75 hard. 75 hard is a 75-day challenge, and you drink a gallon of water every day. You have to work out twice a day for 45 minutes each. You do a progress picture every day, a physical progress picture, it can be in the mirror or whatever. You do have to stick to some form of diet, but that is probably the most lenient category. You can do whatever you want for that. If it's just staying on track with healthy meals, that's all you really need to do. You don't have to follow an actual diet.
And I failed twice. Bethany is like the most inspirational human I know. And I was like, I can do this. I've never worked out in my life. I'm like the laziest human. I modified it so I did like half a gallon of water a day because I also just do not drink water. And like I
that is pretty difficult.
It's awful. It's like I think that's arguably the hardest part. And I did half of the real challenge.
I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say that there's times like 10:30 at night. I'm like, I still have to finish my gallon of water. I still have like 40 ounces left to drink, and I'm like chugging before I go to bed. Or there were definitely nights where it's like 11 o'clock at night and I'm just getting my second workout in. I'm like, okay, this is gonna suck. But that's kind of the beauty of it. Like, there's no actual rules of what you have to do for your workouts, what you have to do for your diet, what you have to do, whatever. So a lot of times, it sounds very intimidating hearing 2 45-minute workouts, but for me it was mostly 2 times a day for 45 minutes that I can kind of just escape from everything going on. Whether I want to take a walk, I want to do yoga, Pilates, running, hiking. There's so many things that you can do. It doesn't have to be intense workouts. So it kind of got me interested in new things. Like, I never did Pilates or yoga or walks regularly before I did this challenge. So for me, it started off as a challenge, and then it developed into just habits. And it also helped me realize how much time I really do have in the day and how I want to spend it. So I did already start waking up in the mornings before work and doing runs. But then I would come home, get ready for work, and I guess, it's like, boom, my day's over already by the time it's 9 a.m. Like, okay, I got to go to work now. But if I did my run or whatever in the morning and then set aside time on my lunch break to go on a walk for 45 minutes, it gets me out of the apartment. I get to see some scenery and it distracts me from work. So I'm not just sitting there in my dark corner of my living room, working all day. So I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, is because I wasn't focused so much on like how difficult it was, or losing weight, things like that you would think are part of the challenge. It's more so just kind of escaping what's going on. And like I said, it makes you realize how much time you do have in the day. And that was the beauty that I saw in the challenge. And that's why I loved it so much. And I'm actually planning on doing it again in January, maybe February. I don't want to do it 2 back to back because it's such it is difficult. It's a long challenge. It's 75 days. So I feel like if I do it back to back, it won't be as special each time. So I figured I'll give myself a few months. But I really did like it. Like I said, I made new habits. I can't say that I drink a gallon of water every day, but on lunch breaks now I go on walks. I found new hikes. I found new things to do. I found new people on YouTube that I like watching, and it, gives my mind a break from everything going on. So I really enjoyed the challenge, and it did distract me a bit from quarantine because it's such a good chunk of time. You're like, okay, 75 days from now is, at the time I started it in July. So, okay, September. Like, you kind of just forget what's going on, I guess, because you're so focused on this lengthy challenge. And I don't know, I enjoyed it.
So I totally feel that. I'm doing obviously 100 of these videos, and so for me it's kind of a similar like I think what I want to hear more from you about is this challenge is really interesting because it's a mental challenge, right? Like, it obviously challenges you physically, but it kind of rewires your brain to think of your day differently. And I just like, how do you push through on the days where you hate it the most? Like, how do you develop those kind of like skills and abilities throughout the challenge?
And there were definitely days where I did hate it. One of the things about the challenge is that if you mess up, you have to start over. And so, I mean, I knew if I messed up, I wasn't going to start over. I knew that was it, that I'm not, you know, I kind of, when I first started the challenge, I thought, okay, even if I can just do 30 days, that's all, you know, I'll be happy with that. I'll take that. And so once I did 10 days and then 20 days, it just got really exciting. And I would always feel so accomplished at the end of the day. So when there were days where I just felt like, oh man, I hate this. And, you know, I hate that it's 11 o'clock at night and I still need to do 45 minutes of yoga, or I need to go do my reading still, because you also have to do 10 pages of reading every day. And then I'd kind of just look back on how many days that I was in and realized, I can't believe I've even come this far. And look at all these new things I'm learning. You know, obviously it wouldn't be a challenge if it was easy. And so I just kept thinking, if this is how I feel 10 days in or 20 days in, imagine how you're going to feel 75 days and after this. And, you know, it was also getting me back into reading. I just felt so good with the amount of water I was drinking. And, you know, I started to pick up running this year. Never ran before. Hated it. I still kind of do. And so it helped me with that. And so now when I go on my runs, I just appreciate the fact that I did this challenge because, you know, I practiced it all the time. So I just, on those days where it sucks and it's really hard, I just try to think of the positives that I've gotten from this challenge. And obviously it's easier said than done, especially when it's really late at night. But like I said, I just kept telling myself, you know, if you mess up, you're not going to start this challenge over. That's it. Like, you're done. But look at how many positive things you've gotten from this. You can continue to get, you know, you can continue to learn from this if you keep doing it. Just push through. 75 days in the grand scheme of things is not a long time.
Right.
You know, this can be a lifelong journey type of thing. Maybe not every single thing, doing the gallon of water every day and the reading every single day, but something. If you can just pick one thing from the list and do that each day, you know. So I mean, there were definitely times where I would do like 5 pages of reading and I was like, all right, I'm too tired. Let's finish this. And I'd close the book and I'd turn off the lights. And then I would just feel the guilt eating at me. And then I did open the book back up and finish those 5 pages. Because that's it. That's all you have to do is 10 pages of reading every day. But sometimes there's those little things, and
it's a mental block. It's totally,
yeah.
When I was the couple days before I got a blister, that I was like running in my neighborhood and I texted you and I was like, oh no, I got a blister, what do I do? I was like, you know, I'd get to like minute 30 and I'd be like, do I really need to do more of this? And the answer is yes. And it's not that my body was incapable of running another 15 minutes. It's that my mind is so used to being not like greedy, but just like there are things I like doing. And if I'm not doing those things, I'm like, ugh, I just can't be bothered. And I think that's like such a good life skill to be able to kind of like rein in those thoughts, and whether it's by guilt or whether it's by excitement, to just be able to get up and do it.
Yeah. And there's definitely times where I was working out, whether it was a walk or whatever, I would feel like, oh, am I wasting my time doing this? I feel like there's other things that I could be doing with my time. You know, I could either be grocery shopping, or I could be, you know, ending my lunch a little early so I can finish up work so I don't have to work so late tonight. There's always so many things running through my mind when I was doing it. But I think it's very necessary to take time out of your day to just shut everything off, shut everything out, and just focus on yourself. And again, easier said than done, but once you get to that point and you can set that time aside from yourself, you feel so good. And so doing it twice a day is hard, because obviously a lot of us find trouble finding the time for just 10 minutes out of the day. But so that was a challenge in itself, just finding the time and, you know, setting it aside for yourself. And the thing is, like, I feel like the most important thing that I've learned from this challenge is that everyone has the time. You don't have to find the time. It's always there. You know, if you are in the middle of a project, if you're working or whatever it is that you're doing, if an emergency pops up, you know, you gotta run to the store and go get dinner really quickly because you didn't know that you're gonna have dinner guests over, or, you know, something happened with your dog, you gotta run out and go get him some food, whatever it is, that time is always there. So it's not like you don't have the time. Like, the time is always there. You just have to set that time aside, you know, and prioritize, I guess, what you think is more important. So if your me time is something that's important to you, that time is always there. You know, it's it's not like you have to find it. Everyone has 24 hours in the day. So for me, it's like I would either have to wake up early or stay up extra late just to find that time. But you know, it teaches you like that time is always there. You never have to find it. You just have to, I guess, I don't know, carve it out, right? And so that's something that I learned, I guess.
I think that's an amazing place to leave this off on, and that's a really good message and a good reminder for me. So thank you for being
Yeah.
here and having this conversation. I love
Yeah,
talking to you.
absolutely.
It's been
Thank
way
you for
too
asking
long.
me.
Of course.